Hey everyone, my name is Bill May, and today we are going to do a design review of Tolu's design portfolio website. So let's get started. All right, the first thing I notice about your website is that it takes a very long time for it to load. So this is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go into the DevTools panel, disable the cache, and I'm going to choose a slow 3G network, which simulates the average 3G connection that you would get when you're browsing a website from a phone on the go using mobile data. So I also have here a stopwatch on my terminal that I'm going to use to time the loading of your website. So let's get started. I'm going to hit go and then hit go, and then we'll see how long it takes for this website to go. So we're already going to go past 10 seconds. Still spinning. Still going. Still seeing a blank screen. Still spinning. All right, and we're finally done at 24 seconds. So 24 seconds is a very long time for this website to load. Most people, when they see something like this and it's a blank screen and I'm not seeing any feedback and it's just spinning and spinning, it doesn't encourage me to stay on this website. I know that there's been research previously about users having very short patience on the web. So if you can't even get them to load your website, there isn't much you can do to convince them to hire you or check out any of your designs, if they're not even able to see your website. I would definitely try to look into how to improve this load time. There are many resources on the internet that you can research to see how you can do this. It may just be as simple as moving to a better web hosting company, or changing the template that you're using, or some kind of optimization there. I notice you're also not using HTTPS. Google Chrome going forward, if you don't use HTTPS, not only will your site not rank well and will be slower, they'll also show more prominently that your site is not secure for users. So that's something to keep in mind going forward as well. Okay, so let's start looking at this website. So hello, I'm Tolu Atkinson. I design services, experiences, what else does it say? Businesses. Cool. So I get a product. I get a pretty high-level overview of what you do. I'm not a 100% fan of this cursor deleting and retyping out what you do, because it doesn't really give me an at-a-glance what you do. It kind of like forces me to stay here and read all this. I'd rather you try to list this out so I could see more at a glance what you do. But overall, I like this greeting. It's very friendly, and it makes you more personal. So this is a lot of white space. I'm not sure if this is intentional or if you wanted to put something here. But given this much white space, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do exactly. Like, I know you have some navigation menus, so I can try clicking on that. I can scroll down a little bit, but even as I scroll down, there's still like a huge amount of white space before I even get to this, your first sentence. So I see your first sentence here. Design to me is about bridging the gap between humans and physical digital artifacts by user experience, interface design, timely deliverables. Okay. So overall, I haven't really learned much about what you do. I see you're talking about user experiences, interface design. I kind of know what user experience and interface design are. But if I want to learn more, I notice I can hover, but I can't click on these. So this hovering but not being able to click is a little confusing. I'm not sure what to do here, or like what the purpose of these are. You talk about, okay, holistically using iterative processes. Like, again, I'm not really sure what that means to me as a potential customer or potential client. Like, I haven't really learned anything about what makes you unique or why I should hire you, assuming that that's the purpose of this website. So I would like to see more information here about, what specific skills that, you can do to help me improve my business. And then we get into this footer, which looks like a footer, but then I scroll down and I see there's more of a footer. And then there's this contact me, which is kind of hidden. So I didn't know that was there until I randomly moved my mouse over there. So you may want to make that a little bit more visible. But let's go into your About page. Okay, so finally we loaded. Hey, there you are. This is a great photo. I love this photo. It's, again, very personal. Hello, I'm Tolu. I'm a self-taught UX UI designer based in Toronto, Canada. Okay, great. So this is the type of sentence that I would like to see on the very first page. Find me on Instagram, etc., etc. From the age of 9. Okay, so you tell us a bit about your story and a bit about what you're doing. Great. So I really love what you have here. You tell me about who you are, what you're doing, where you're based out of, some projects that you've done before. Yeah, so I would like to see all of this information on the very first page I land on. I don't want it to be buried behind this about page. Oh, that's a little weird. Okay, I will ignore that. The reason I don't want to see this on the about page is that when I land on your homepage, I really only have a couple of seconds to figure out who you are, what you're doing, how you could potentially help me if I'm hiring a designer. And so I would like all this information to be on the first page as possible. And of course, the photo helps a lot. Great smile, you're running a race here. Okay, so this text though is a little bit hard to read. You can try spacing this out a little bit more. You had a huge amount of white space on your homepage, so if you took some of that white space in and put it in here, it would help me a lot. Also, I think in your about page, what I don't see you talk about is, again, how you can help me. You talk about things you've done in the past, your passion for filming, editing, directing content, creative work, bringing innovative ideas to life, etc. So, yes, this page is called, about, and it's about you ostensibly, but really the real secret is that it should not be about you. It should actually be about me, the person who's trying to hire you, or the person who, wants to put you onto a contract, or get the result that you want, which is ultimately use your portfolio to get a job or land a client. So as a client, I want you to talk about my needs and what your skills can offer me or help improve my business. Because ultimately, if you only talk about yourself, you're leaving it up to me as the client or the potential client to try to visualize what our working relationship will look like. And you don't want me to do that work. You want to help me as much as possible by laying out what it is you do for clients and how you'll help make my business better. Okay, so let's go into your portfolio. Let's go to projects. I assume that's what your portfolio is. Okay, and we're gonna wait a really long time for this page to load again. While we're waiting, I can talk a bit about, if you've never seen this network tool before, in the Chrome developer tools, if you want to learn about how to maybe optimize this or speed this up, you can look at some of your resources that you're trying to load and see how long a lot of these are taking. It looks like what's taking a really long time are these images that are taking several minutes to download. When we do web performance on the front end, generally you don't want these photos to be what we call render blocking. By render blocking, meaning that I have to wait for this, like what I assume are big photos, to fully finish downloading before I see like anything on the page. If you can make these images lazy loading, meaning that you show me something so that as a user I see something more interesting than just a white page, and then fill in images later, that can help a lot in terms of the perceived load times. You could probably even look into maybe downscaling these images or making them smaller in some ways so that, again, just ways to improve the load time here. I see here, you even have a failed request here. There's some video file that just didn't have a good day and then it's not coming. So again, all of this impacts your load time. I see we're up to, what is this? 140 seconds. Okay. All right, we're finally done. All right. So here we see the first project here, Pass IT, save time traveling through the airport. Okay. Overview. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is not a text. It's a image of a text. That's not very good. First of all, like I said, having image of text makes this loading incredibly slow. I can't select this text. It's not very accessible, so I would look into maybe not making this an image of text and just making a text. So pass IT. Okay, so let's learn about what this is and what your role was here in this portfolio. Okay, pass it is for those who can't imagine their lives without traveling and want to take all the advantage of their time. So challenges, how can we reduce time spent talking to customer service, avoid long waiting lines, check-in registration, avoid traffic, busier time, create a travel-friendly app to simplify. You can check the spelling there, simplify the airport, again, spelling here, experiences, and still make sure the client gets the terminal fast, efficient, stress happy. Okay, great. Cool, so I'm getting a picture of kind of what this project is and what you did. So it looks like you designed some kind of mobile app to reduce wasted time spent talking to customer service. So given that that's the summary, I think a better way to summarize this project that you have is, try to talk about, again, what is it that you did in this project and what was the outcome and how does that outcome translate into helping the client? So instead of introducing this project as someone who can't imagine their lives without traveling, that's a far less concrete than Pass It is a iOS mobile application that I developed to help customers save time at the airport by reducing check-in registration times by 50%. Right? If you lead with something like that, it shows a very concrete benefit that the user has gained from your experience and skills of developing this application. And that leads to a much more powerful portfolio item here that you can show off to clients. If I'm a client, if I'm a potential client and I want to hire you, this really drives home that, if I get you to develop or design a iOS app for me, I too can avoid long waiting lines, check-in registration, and potentially, it reduce the time it takes for my customers to wait around or achieve some kind of business goal. So that's the type of way that I'd like to see you lay out this portfolio. All right, so that's it for now. I encourage you to go back to some of the feedback that I've given and give everything another look. Like I mentioned, I think the load times on this website can definitely be improved. I mentioned also about taking your information on your About page and putting that on your main page. And finally, improvements around copy and language on your website so that you can not just describe what it is that you do, but for trying to find a new potential client, talk about how is it that the client can benefit from the work that you do. All right, thanks a lot. Take care.